dish is, in the relative position of the satellite. So in the satellite is standard. Of course, you're not going to get a signal or force it to put hardware here. No, but satellites, no. But
satellite isn't orbit.
Satellites isn't,
But it can't be at the same.
It's called. It is. That's why the satellites. It's called geosynchronous. Orbit. So like it follows. It has the same angular velocity as the rotation of the Earth. So it always follows relative to our position. The sun is always at the same place because the Earth rotates around its axis, right? The satellite follows that rotation as well. So it has the same angular speed. So it's always like this. It's called geosynchronous.
Have you ever read anything about total count of total satellites that are orbiting around the Earth? I mean, how many can there be?
They're always. I mean, they go. They go. Yeah. They go back. They launch another.
Yeah, I just wonder how many quantity.
A lot. There is a lot, but the bigger problem is debris, garbage. And it's a bigger problem, for shooting something for the satellites because because debris goes, it doesn't have geosynchronous, so that's little piece of metal, whatever. Metal, junk, steel, because the velocities are so high, really high. Once it hits it, for example, for its space station.
Like in land speed.
High, maybe even maybe 1,000 kilometers an hour. I mean, Earth has something like very high. Earth has maybe not. I really cannot calculate for example. But it's 1,000. That's high. And that's like a bullet. They go like a bullet.
What's the it's like 26,000 miles.
Around 30,000 kilometers.
The diameter.
Yeah.
Not the circumference.
Yes. Okay.
The diameter. Maybe that's more important. The circumference. Circumference, I think, is 26,000. Hey, Raul.
Yeah?
It's around 30,000
What's
kilometers.
do you know what the circumference of the Earth is?
Yeah, I do.
The diameter?
Yeah, it's
Doesn't matter.
It's what?
10,000 kilometers.
No.
Wait, man.
10,000 kilometers is like, nothing.
Actually,
Diameter?
Not diameter. Diameter
Yo,
could
Keith.
be.
What do you? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Its diameter could be 10,000.
What are you
Times
asking?
pi, it's
circumference.
30,000.
The surface?
Circumference.
Ah,
Like the length of
2 pi r.
the equator.
Right.
Yes.
The 2 pi r. What's
Yeah,
the r?
that's the definition.
Right.
Keith, what's the circumference of the Earth?
Length. The
Yeah.
length.
Yeah.
Circumference.
I thought it was around like
Yeah, see, it's something like that.
yeah, so around 30,000.
I think it's 26,000. So right, if in 24 hours you gotta cover that distance.
Yeah.
I mean, you are traveling
Yeah,
over
the
1,000 miles an
speed,
hour.
yeah.
You're traveling over 1,000 miles an hour.
Yes.
Right.
The speed is like even like a rotational speed, velocity of Earth is big. We don't realize it. We think like it's like takes forever, but it's
1,000 miles an hour.
24,
That's
yeah.
twice as fast as an airplane is going in the sky. You're traveling.
Yeah.
That's not that fast. It's excessive.
Dude, but let like a little stone hit you
At that speed.
at that speed, it'll like,
Let a little-
pierce you like
A little grain of sand.
Yeah,
A little grain of
something.
sand. At that speed.
Yeah.
You'll feel it, man.
Absolutely. So
What are you watching there? Yeah.
I'm watching the sky. Some stars.
Very nice day.
that's why it's called the orbit of the satellite. they're on the same like distance. You can calculate. I calculated in like to about 3,000 miles. You know what?
3,000 miles.
Yeah, like just a rough calculation. Took like data from like internet, like what's the diameter of the Earth, you know, and all of that. Calculated geosynchronous orbit, and all
Oh, right, that's
satellites.
where you get that
Satellites.
speed.
Yeah, satellites. Yeah.
But it shouldn't be too much more than 1,000 miles an hour.
Well, around that, you know,
Shouldn't be
if
too
I
much
can,
more.
it shouldn't be around that,
Yeah, that's amazing.
even if that. But that's why like satellites work like so. Like the
But you know
dish
what I don't
doesn't need to
understand
rotate.
then? Maybe it's an elevation thing. What I don't understand is
But you know, when
because
you-
the moon, right? The
Yeah.
moon orbits around the Earth, but it's not geosynchronous. Like the moon is
No.
moving at a different.
Yes.
At a different.
yeah, because it's a different distance. You know
Right.
that.
So,
You know, like
but it's a
distance.
distance issue. So,
yeah, distance. Absolutely.
So the satellites they must be, you know, I don't know, mile and a half, 2 miles up, maximum. Maybe more.
Oh,
maybe
no,
like 3
around,
miles
like-
up, 3 miles up.
I
Not
think
than
more than that.
Because there's a certain threshold that you cross at it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so what?
you
It
cross
depends on.
atmosphere.
There is a, like what you calculate. You gotta calculate. It's a Newton universal gravitational law, meaning at the distance, you know, where like the gravity force of the Earth pulls it, right? Pulls the satellite because there's like you know like two masses acting on each other, like it's
Right.
you know like it's
and I think you break that,
attractive.
I think you break
No.
that threshold like a mile and a half
No.
up, maybe 2 miles up.
Well, it can be calculated now. Like you basically
No.
calculate. Wait a second. I'll tell you how you calculate mass. You know, like it's like there's a universal gravitational constant. You know, like the gravity force between two bodies is proportional to gravitational constant, universal gravitational constant. The masses of these two product of the masses of the two bodies, which for a satellite is negligible, you know, like but still, you know, so the mass of the Earth times mass of the satellite times gravitational constant times the square of the distances between their centers, you know. Now, of course, so the Earth pulls it, but there's another counteracting force that keeps it away. So meaning that it's always in the same distance. Well, that force is the centrifugal force. You know, that's so if you have like anywhere going, even when you drive a car, you turn the corner, you want to go out, right? If you go too fast, well, that's called centrifugal force, right? So like centrifugal force has to equal to the gravitational force. So like there's no like the summation of the forces is zero.
These satellites are in tension, basically.
Yeah. Now, like another thing is now you gotta calculate the, velocity too, like for the Earth angular velocity. So and you calculate then the angular velocity of the satellite, and then like what the distance is. Like basically two equations, two unknowns. One is the distance between and another one's the velocities. And you get that like calculating the r, the distance. That's how you get it. In a nutshell. It'll make more sense if I put
But
it
I would
on paper.
imagine. I would imagine that
Yeah.
the range of that. I don't know, but I would imagine that the range of that is not less than a mile and a half, and not more than 4
No,
miles.
it's-
You know.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah.
There, like you have like correct order of magnitude.
It's just interesting to think of that scale. Like imagine going for a 4 mile jog, and at the end of it is with the satellites hanging out. You know, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty accessible because
You can-
when
you
you're
can-
flying. The
you
thing is
can-
that
yeah.
when you're flying 35,000. Doesn't matter if you're flying 28,000 feet above the ground or 35,000 feet above the
Of
ground.
course
you don't
it
feel
does.
it. You don't know. No, it matters, but you don't.
Of
you
course
don't
it
know.
does, because what happens
No,
is
you go faster when you're higher.
No.
You cover more
What's the
territory when you're higher, but
no? Let me tell you something. It's more than 4 miles, because the plane flies at 6,000 miles, right?
it flies at 35,000
Yeah,
feet.
yeah, 6 miles, right? Around 6 miles, right? Now the border of the space and the is around like I think 60,000 feet, which
There's
is
how
like
many feet in a mile? 1600 yards
16,
times
yeah,
3?
something like that. So it's at 60,000.
4,800 feet.
It's around like 20 kilometers, like
Oh,
I
yeah, so
think.
you're right,
You
yeah.
know, so it's more than that.
Yeah, it's more than that.
You know, border, with space where basically you can see the curvature of the Earth.
Right. 4 miles is
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think it's
that's
more like I think it's more around.
it's more like a
10 to 20.
half marathon.
Yeah, it's more like 10 to 20 miles around that.
More like a
But-
half marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Sunday type of project.
Here you go, buddy.
We should have brought the whole fucking six pack here. It's
I know.
Yeah, I know.
It's up
I'll
here.
go get it. It's fine.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
okay, no problem. Even if it has the keys, but don't. No. You're going to get some beer.
Where did you put the
Butts?
butts?
Guys, like butts. Let's put them here. So
Kevin, I understand that. I don't know where you
well. Yeah, the square. No, the triangle. The square. Yeah, but don't leave it because like it's self-locked apart.
By the way, it's 24,000. 24,900.
What were you needed?
That's 30 kilometers. Around 30,000.
Right.
Multiply by 1.6 and you're gonna get it.
What do you need it?
I just. I start talking about the principle of the satellite.
Principle of satellite
Yeah,
dish.
Andreas was how come with
What are you
satellite
talking
orbit?
about?
It's quite a discussion.
right?
You're
So what
missing
you
out.
have to do, like there's
You're
an
really
orbit
missing out.
called the geosynchronous orbit,
Right.
where this, where
like
the
death
satellite
metal.
has
Yes.
the same angular velocity. as
You
the
can't miss it.
Earth, rotating around its axis, so it's always like this.
Yeah.
Relative, So did you get that lecture on the on the
almost.
tape?
Which bridge is this one?
That's Williamsburg,
Williamsburg.
right?
That's the one we crossed.
Yeah.
Williamsburg.
Oh, there are like
Čekaj,
5
danas sad smo
bridges.
šetali ispod njega.
Yeah. We were there like eating in a diner.
It looks so far now.
You crossed it by foot?
No.
No.
Andreas.
It's a nice
By car.
walk.
Andreas and I.
Really?
Walk. Yeah.
Andreas and I crossed Brooklyn Bridge once. It's a long walk.
We should do it maybe tomorrow.
Walk on
Manana.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Or Williamsburg Bridge. Have you walked on the Brooklyn Bridge?
No?
No.
I would love to.
All right, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, that's the nicest first one to walk across.
I would love to do it.
Anyway, Andreas asked me about these satellites, the speed,
You're not
about
working tomorrow.
something he mentioned. I
No,
think the
I'm
numbers.
painting though.
What's the
In the
number of
morning.
satellites? And,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to
no,
figure something
but
out.
That's not the problem.
that
The problem is really
we can
debris
spend some
and
hours
garbage
during
in
the day.
space that rotates also. But
The
these
bridge sounds good.
Velocities, this debris,
Please,
like
please.
little
Yeah,
pieces
let's do
of
it.
metal, whatever, junk.
You know
has-
what I mean?
But you know what?
You
You really like the
high, and,
Williamsburg
like,
Bridge.
like even when
But
you
the
start
Brooklyn Bridge is
launching,
the
like,
one that everyone knows.
shuttle,
You know, so back
Yeah.
home, I walk on the
Yes,
Brooklyn
yeah, yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah, well, every-
Yeah,
all
you
these
call
pieces
Williamsburg.
monitor
But
because
what are
if
you
it
doing in
hits,
Williamsburg?
like,
What is
those-
that? Right.
Just this size, it'll
Yeah. No,
You know,
Brooklyn's
some
good.
things
struck.
should
No,
be
the,
like.
the Brooklyn
damage,
Bridge is
right?
beautiful.
depending when
It's
it hits
it's
the shuttle.
it's a work of art.
It's one with the wires.
Rocket boosters,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, it's really
Well,
thin.
they're only able to track.
The structure is
10%.
really
Yeah,
really
the
thin.
jump-
It's
Yeah.
all these
The rest
cables.
of it's a gamble.
Yeah.
This whole
It's
cables
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
network.
But it's becoming the
beautiful.
problem now.
You know what I
Now
need?
they-
I don't know
they're
where to buy
realizing
that
really,
tomorrow. I have
Like, you
a
never-
digital
you
camera,
never,
but I
like, think about it,
never
that's, like,
bought
some-
a
The
memory
memory
card.
right.
Yeah.
Like a little debris.
You could go to B&H
yeah.
where
Yeah.
Gustavo is.
It's-
But,
Where is
uh,
that? Here in Brooklyn?
No, it's on 30,
So he was what's the velocity?
38th in Manhattan,
1,000
38th
miles
Street.
an hour or something.
It's a little bit of a little bit
It's-
outside.
Of
It's
the-
33rd
here?
Street.
of-
Oh, of these,
Here, somewhere
of this
here?
little debris.
Somewhere
But I don't know.
here.
Then he's asked like what's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
circumference
yeah.
or the
There's
length of
a
the,
there's a place down the street
Ecuador,
that for a memory card
and
would be
like you
fine.
can
We could get it.
calculate,
Walking
like,
distance
Yeah,
from here.
Manhattan.
hours,
Yeah.
what would be the
Manhattan? Or
On Manhattan Avenue.
on Manhattan Avenue?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the price won't be too bad.
Well, it's like I don't have to because I just
Yes, yeah.
All right, this is my next
right.
question. How far is the moon?
because
from there?
yeah.
How far is the moon from there?
My thumb,
There you go.
My thumb's getting sore, man. But I'll find out for you.
If that makes you happy,
Usually left thumb,
The sun to the moon.
the moon to the earth.
The moon to the earth, right?
That's actually about 900,000 miles, or 90. It's either 90 or 900. It's 90, I
telephone,
think.
cell phone, nalima
Maybe
yun.
it's 90. 22,000
Dude, I
miles
like
to the
that.
satellites? That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, no. The question is, how do you launch that stuff? I mean, like 26,000 miles.
How do you launch that? Yeah.
You know,
We
how
one of
do
those nice motorcycle images that we saw. We saw these beautiful fucking custom-built machines.
Yeah,
on the
choppers.
Right at Turkey's Nest and what is that, North 9th or something, or 11th?
Yeah.
no. Come on.
Nice bikes. Those custom-made bikes, you know, Keith?
Yeah, man.
Real beauties. Kind of Los Angeles style, actually.
385,000 kilometers to the
Divided by
moon.
1.6
Nice to know.
385.
thousand
Yeah.
kilometers? Yeah, which is around like 1.6.
And the
It's
sun
Around
is,
over 200.
20.
It's over 200.
200, yeah.
and the
A
sun
little
is
bit
6
under.
times that.
Little bit under 200.
That's amazing.
You know why the
1,000.
moon can perfectly eclipse the sun? Because the moon is 6 times. It's 1/6 the size in the sky. Wait, how does it work, man? No, the reason that it's the same size in the sky, it's fucked up. How does it work? It's like a coincidental relationship between the distance of the moon to its size, this distance of the sun to its size, just happened to match up perfectly for us.
I thought you were gonna start breakdancing, man. Because you went back
Oh,
like this.
That's
you
you
went back
you're,
you went back
you're-
like this.
you're-
You were like,
Fucking loosen up a little bit.
well, you're well, that's the least required size for perfect eclipse,
Right.
because obviously
If it was
anything
bigger,
bigger,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it can eclipse
Easy.
it too. Yeah, easy, you know.
It's crazy how coincidental that shit, some of that stuff is.
The you know, well, for the eclipse, you know, moon eclipsing the sun, you know, it's got to be like, it depends on the distance between the Earth and moon and the sun, right? And the size of the moon. Now, like, it's in a way perfect. The size of
Size,
the
yeah,
moon
yeah,
is
to
just to eclipse the sun, you know.
I wonder what the diameter of the sun is.
It's fucking around.
Fucking Keith is pumping it in.
I wonder what.
This one I knew. I did know this one, and I forgot it.
Well, can that one really be calculated? Because like the Earth one, yeah, you can calculate that one.
You can calculate it.
How can you calculate it?
Because you know you know the distance, you know the distance from here to sun. You can measure the size, relative size of the sun, like, you know, and then you calculate the real diameter, and then you calculate the.
It's really simple,
circumference.
Andres.
870,000 miles,
870,000 mile diameter.
1.4 million kilometers diameter.
Fuck.
Yeah.
1.4 million kilometers.
Crazy, man.
What are you going to do with all those information?
I'm gonna have really cool dreams tonight.
You know, the diameter of the sun. You said diameter, but
What about the diameter of
Yeah.
the
No, wait a
solar
second.
system? Solar system.
Well,
Well, that
that's easy.
depends on how you define the
How do
solar
you know?
system. That-
Why?
What do you, how much is it?
Well, the solar system, you calculate the furthest planet
Planet.
from the sun, and
Right.
and that's the radius
Right.
multiplied by 2, and
Yeah.
Well, but
Well,
technically,
I
technically
wonder
it's-
what it is. I know it's easy.
Hey, wait, there's a dark
Technically,
horse here.
they're technically Jupiter or Pluto when it's at its farthest.
they overlap
Well,
each other.
Jupiter and Pluto.
But picture this. Picture here's the
Pluto,
sun.
there's-
Here's the sun.
The last
This
one.
is the sun. That
But
Yeah,
I think
figure
they
out.
just discovered a
And
new
this is
planet.
Pluto?
It
It's
looks
past
awfully
Pluto.
small, Keith.
It's hot though, man.
All right.
No, and this is
Yeah.
this is Pluto.
cigarettes.
This is Pluto right
Yeah.
here. The Kuiper belt. Actually, to scale, if this is the
Yeah.
sun and this is Pluto,
All right.
there's a Kuiper belt. It's called Kuiper belt of
Yeah.
meteor
You gotta
asteroids.
spell like these.
Is
you know.
part of our solar system because it's held by the sun.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like to
It's further
scale
out than Pluto.
to that building way out there.
Oh, really?
And it's a whole
Right.
disc
Right,
of
right.
shit
Yeah.
out there, and that's our solar
Right.
system.
Right.
Yeah. But you know, meaning like
That's
the
pretty
planets,
crazy.
you know, asteroid is not really a planet.
Oh, that's
No, but they're still tied
yeah,
to the sun.
tied,
together.
yeah, okay.
That's pretty cool. burgundy colored leather
I
jacket.
gave it to Sasha, but
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
Burgundy
And-
color, like 70s pimp jacket. So, we're going out.
We're
There's
on
nobody
state,
around.
right?
There's nobody around. We're going out for a beer. We're walking down the street. Boyan starts getting into his little strut. You know that Boyan strut? Right?
I know.
There's a car coming up the street. Fucking Boyan's like,
No, they must have yelled something like full of chicks. That's what you forgot. You know, like
Car full of chicks.
that's what. Yeah, that's what Latino ego doesn't want to admit that they to Andres. Andres. Ay, papito, mama, grandma, they didn't like. That was good. That was good. Always fun.
you know that strut?
Yeah, I know this right. But I know the hand gesture even more, even better.
It's like a menudo move, man.
Ooh, so nice.
So,
More like touche, man. Touche. Ay, ay.
You just got sniffed.
There's a slice command in AutoCAD.
This is first time I'm hanging out with architects, and you guys are not talking about architecture. This is the first time.
Boyan's
Otherwise
gonna.
it's just like fucking reading. Like,
Boyan's trying to hit all three at once. See if I can get a
be
bazooka here.
equal with the with the story of it. But the walk, kako se kaže skinuo?
You like reproduced or like you got the wall.
Captured it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard the music, man.
Staying alive. Oops.
Playing soccer.
No, not this year. I haven't done it. Camp. What's the deal? Or
Evo, ne, kod tebe.
No, these are my. This is my full pack. Right
But
here.
hey,
how was that-
How was that party at
Tu kod
Rockefeller
piva,
Center?
kutija piva.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was it was good. I've bragged about that shit far and wide, man. East side, west side.
yeah. Yeah.
So
The Sharks
that
against
sounds fun,
Jets.
300 people.
Yeah.
It's a big party.
West Side Story.
And then afterwards went to the Maritime Hotel for some dancing.
Where's that?
That's
For some chow. Huh?
that's Chelsea. Oh, meat packing.
Oh, you know what I'm
So
saying.
did you pack some meat?
I tried. These two Thai. I'm pretty sure they were. After talking to them a little bit, they were pretty much straight up hoes, whores.
For hire.
Yeah, for hire.
Oh, really?
I was like, we're really hungry. No, well, she comes up to me and basically says, "You're so sexy, and you don't have. Why are you alone? You're so sexy."
Why are you alone?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Fucky, sucky.
That would be a little too forward for just about anyone. So after that, I figured.
So what'd you say?
I'm romantic type of guy. I don't
I
go
don't
for
know.
this shit.
I just went to the bathroom and never came
I'm
back.
too romantic.
That's it.
And disappeared.
Was it some older chick or?
No, brand new. No, she must have
She's
been.
inexperienced.
She didn't look inexperienced. She didn't seem too inexperienced, no.
Wait.
But young.
With the talking.
Trying to break into the
Yeah.
industry.
No, not inexperienced.
Just straightforward.
Yeah, very straightforward. Just very straightforward and.
So did you buy yourself a bike?
I did.
Bicycle?
No, I didn't.
But a little bit. I mean, it was just kind of sleazy to. I thought. I don't know. I mean, she could have. She.
It's not that
She
bad.
could have, maybe not have been, and I was a little bit in doubt because that was it was interesting.
She didn't hit the right tune.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was a fun night.
And or a road bike, I just haven't had a chance.
When was that?
That was Friday after the ball.
This Friday?
Last Friday. Scared
Why?
because it could be a piece of equipment that doesn't, you know.
Tired.
I have enough gadgets.
Constant.
The iPod, the camera, the video camera,
the assembly
the
line?
cell
Everything,
phone.
and you always
For one
No,
trip.
nothing. It never.
Actually,
Yeah,
he
I
came in-
almost always have.
You know, he helped.
Yeah, I don't. This I don't always have.
The second one was
how much is iPod
nobody
here?
here, Gustavo.
Like
gotta be
$300.
Yeah, I heard about it.
That one like you
And,
have.
Yeah,
one.
Jay.
You can get one for.
He's like,
There's hair on that shit, man.
very little, son, very little.
Yeah, very little.
I take care of that.
Keep flexing.
Did you get that, Raul?
Actually, the
you get that?
No.
Koreans were more impressive.
I didn't actually.
They fucking burned the infrared.
He's like, my eyes, my eyes.
He's like a laser plucking right there, like once and that's it.
So how long was that Triple Crown? You guys went?
Not that long. One drink and then that was it.
Half hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Damn. Stop talking about it.
No, I was curious because we went at like 1:15. I just assumed you guys would be there.
No, we were like, we probably left around like maybe.
I didn't go.
Cause I got that
Worked it.
sweet message. I was like, oh, they're gonna be there, fucking hooking it up. We show up, and I was like, no, they're not here. Sweet.
This is much better. You have to.
I was like-
admit.
I was like,
Oh, this is much better.
Welcome to your place.
you dick cock. Get your fucking ass over
Right.
here.
We're at your place partying like fucking. There's no tomorrow.
Which is obviously
That's
why
a
this
light.
is the whole point.
Yeah.
Hey, but once again, I have to say, that's a really great
It's-
account you got yourself.
It's a fucking great camera.
What should I put that on?
The only drawback, like we were talking about, was we have to insulate that fucking. It's just too hot.
What I was just telling Angie and something you gotta watch out for. That thing is venting right now, right?
It was really nice,
These are like late afternoon.
From
nice
where?
fish I had.
I don't know.
Only the side. You know, sides.
But it is.
No, but the fish.
Yeah,
It'd be
I
good to
know,
see
Like
Fred,
here's
man.
the whole
Here
fish.
right now.
You
Yeah,
haven't been by
cool
my
dick.
restaurant.
Where's he staying?
The restaurant for
Staying with
dinner.
his sister who moved. I know this. Who moved
Where?
two-
You need to
two
come by and
years
have
ago
a
on the
fish there. We
Upper
have a
Side.
fucking whole sea bass. It's amazing.
Basses are good. Sea bass is
Yeah,
good.
last time I saw, it's been a while since I saw. You guys saw him when you were with Clemmy in Miami, like last year, right?
That's right. No.
Last time I saw him, man,
I wasn't quite last year. It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Last time I saw him was when he came back for his, at that time anyway, girlfriend's graduation party, right? Wasn't he going with that girl who was graduating? And he came back from Florida for that party.
Oh yeah,
And it was one
she
of
was a
your
UD person.
It was it was one of your.
No, Andres, you're right, man. It was last year.
Yeah, how?
That time is fucking.
How?
So much has
That was like
happened.
March or something.
Yeah. What's up?
Wednesday, Tonic, we're gonna be shooting some stuff.
Oh, we are?
Or, you know, like,
If you can do it.
If I can do it.
Well, I mean, if you can get off at 8.
exclusivity.
There's a-
That's
What time? When?
8. We should get there at 8.
Th-
so we-
Thursday?
Not that many.
Yeah, Wednesday.
I was reading about some
Death metal band?
death metal Canadian band.
Necrophagist.
Yeah, they're playing at like some summer stage.
They're playing.
Summer stage.
They're playing.
They're doing a free concert in
Yeah.
New York this summer.
Yeah.
That's so nice. You have to do that because you
That's
see an
straight up
entire
technical
view of
death
the city,
metal.
which you see now, but you see it from the coverage is so beautiful. And then you can actually, on the other side,
Have you seen any of the footage yet? These guys have shot? And edited?
Oh yeah, man. I was at your place.
No, but have you seen
Haven't
the
seen
recent?
Oh, the
Sickness.
Sickness.
We gotta
I heard
see
about it.
Sickness.
No.
We have to see Sickness before you leave. Well, I'll give
Yeah.
it to you guys if you want to go.
No, I want to see it.
Who's this, you and Frank?
No, Boyan and. You think you're.
Who's this Jack and Jill bitch?
You mean Boyan and Hoon?
Boyan and Hoon, man. Classic.
Fuck, like, you know, that's
Raul, you guys painted today?
Yeah.
just giving up without, like,
We did.
trying. I hate that.
But it was very.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, it's artistic.
Andreas,
painting.
you're into the Hawaii.
North and
Unico
South.
music.
Yeah.
You guys be nice to each other now.
We bond.
Good minute.
No, we bond because not too many people can actually embrace the Dakotas so much. You know, do it ourselves.
Which one, north or
Embrace
south?
the Dakotas, exactly.
North or south?
All right, so
Don't
So
ask.
2007, this
That's
Brian
where
Green,
you guys part ways.
I'm kidding because of the north and the
he's
south.
like basically
states, so.
Stephen Hawking.
There's north and south.
the car.
He's kind of
Dakota.
redefining the idea of like at least physics, like astrophysics and
why did you
cosmology.
ask me that?
They're
I
having
was
in the
kidding
city.
because I
this
act like there's a rivalry between
massive
the two, but
fucking
they're
undertaking
not.
where
It's
there
fine.
isn't.
No. Nobody
They're
lives
gonna have
in
like in
North or
Columbia
South
and all around
Dakota.
the city. They're gonna have physicists
like-
during the day
it-
lecture for
What
do you mean nobody
3
lives?
weeks.
Besides
No,
Lakota
nobody
tribe.
They're
lives
gonna
there. I
have
mean, people that
the
live there
culture.
were born there
So
and
you
they
have, like,
never leave.
artistic interpretation
They're
or
stuck there.
films.
They're stuck there,
And it's gonna
yeah.
go on for 2 weeks.
very,
So what they're trying to do is bring science to
very
the
primitive,
public
almost.
in a very big
What
push.
is, what are the
It's
cities?
not very popular.
You would know the cities.
I'm
like
completely
Sioux
psyched
Falls,
though
South
because
Dakota,
it's like
Falls.
they have.
or
I'm talking about like
cities,
major
and they're
people
very,
behind
Yeah,
it.
Sioux
very,
Falls.
very, very
Never. Alan Alda was one of the
small. Very
He's a
small.
You know,
huge
Dakotas
fan
are known
of
because
Brian
of the
Green. He's,
custard
like,
and the crazy horse.
Are you talking about the history of the universe?
South Dakota's
No,
known for
no,
the
no,
Black
no,
Hills.
Yeah, Black Hills,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, the Black Hills
Yeah.
and
That's exactly. That's
yeah,
Elegant
Little
Universe.
Bighorn.
No,
which
what's happening
geographically
is
are beautiful, but
Brian Green from the Elegant Universe and Nova
So the
is in
environment is
2007 in the
it's
cities
gorgeous on
hosting
the
this
western part. It's absolutely
huge
gorgeous. It's like a
science
natural
bonanza
phenomenon, but
where
in terms of people
Columbia
living
and all
there,
around the
there
city
are
are going to have
very few people
lectures.
that live there.
And then in
They're
the evening, he's going to have these
very,
cultural events
very
that are
simple, very
interpretations.
kind
And
of backward,
it's like
very-
3 weeks. What they're trying to do is
Is it
bring
an organized
science.
website right now?
I'm
We can
sure.
get tickets and shit?
I'm sure.
And your
Oh yeah.
family has to-
Check it
Well,
out.
right now I don't have to
was
sell
born
it.
there, my
No,
family.
It's
That's
a
awesome.
huge push to try to bring
will, though.
So I go
science to
back
the public. Because Stephen
I mean, it's
Hawking started the whole
wonderful to go
trend,
home,
but he
but
speaks
otherwise
through a.
it's-
Can you?
Right. I just don't want to. I just don't want to say like it.
How far away is the moon? That's it right there. Is that the Brooklyn Bridge?
No, it's Williamsburg.
Williamsburg.
Oh, sorry, Williamsburg.
Williamsburg.
I did it for years.
That's fine, but listen,
Yeah.
Somebody actually gave me an air conditioner. Like, you know what? I'm giving you my air conditioner.
yeah, listen to me.
And I took it. 'Cause
Well, now you have an air
keys,
conditioner.
the
we have
keys,
3.
the keys, you know, the key is not to let the apartment get heated
It's like you have
Absolutely.
during
right.
during the day.
But we can't help
Wait,
that because we get so much sun, you know, and
know,
that
like this is our.
at 3 o'clock
it's not the
so
sun.
sunny.
It's not the sun.
Yeah, it's really sunny.
It's not the sun.
Yeah, we gotta get
No,
shades,
no,
absolutely.
it's not the sun. It's the air surrounding coming into the apartment.
Right.
Because what happens, you know, it's kind of closed, even though like little windows, you know, the building gets heated, the walls, you know, and inside, you know, so it gets heated. So during the night, right now, you know, you go into your apartment, it's hot.
It
it's
is,
cool
I-
now.
absolutely.
So what you want to do,
Right.
you want to keep cool over the day.
I'm not turning the air
Well, wait a
conditioner on
second.
during the day.
Wait a second.
It's such
Just
a
the
waste
concept.
of energy.
No, just the concept.
Yeah.
And then during
No,
the
I
night.
agree with you.
wait,
It would be
you know,
perfect.
because
Absolutely.
you don't need to chill it down like to
Right.
like during the day to like
The number of
65.
hours.
Wait a
Boyan.
second.
It's the number of
No, it
hours.
doesn't
You
matter.
lose the
It's
fucking
about
wait a
like
second.
number of
amount
hours.
of energy.
No. Listen to me. Like,
Wasted in
Forget
terms
it.
of like
Forget it.
world
It's a lost cause.
consumption.
No, energy.
I can't do it.
Energy. Wait a second.
I can suffer and be hot for a while and save some energy.
No, the
Save yourself some energy.
You won't convince me. Yeah.
No, wait a
Save
second.
your energy. You're not going to convince
No,
me.
Angie.
I refuse to turn an
No,
air conditioner on while I'm away from them.
let me
You'll not leave you alone.
Hello. Let me
Okay.
tell you something.
All right, tell me.
Energy is neither lost nor created. There's a amount. Energy is only transferred from one, you know.
But I'm transferring an
Mode.
exponential amount of energy during a time when I'm not there, and I'm paying for it on top of it.
I know.
Like I'm
But you may pay even more if you like try to cool down heated apartment rather than. That's the thing.
I'm not gonna keep it cool all day just so I can come home and
What
be
do you mean
happy.
by that?
I
Because
refuse.
once the
When she
apartment.
came home after
I will
work,
come
she
home
switched
and I
on
will be
the
angry, and
AC.
that's fine.
But
I
you
would
may
rather
do
be angry.
anything for such a large space.
Yes,
to cool
it's-
it down.
But she's got
Absolutely.
3 pieces of
Cool
that.
it. Wait a second. In the room, yes, but in the large living room.
It's tough. We're gonna suffer.
All
and
right.
it's fine.
Fine.
We have to
Fine.
suffer.
No, that's okay.
And it's only 3
We're
months.
humans.
And it's really
We live on planet Earth. We should
exactly.
suffer.
We should suffer.
That's
We're
right.
spoiled rotten in this
I'm telling
country.
you.
Yes.
My God.
You know,
Yes,
I
ching
propose
ching,
this.
salud.
we are so spoiled.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? We have
that.
such a yes. We're spoiled rotten.
I propose a radical idea. Let's
What's
bring
that?
Jesus Christ again so he can suffer for us.
They're trying.
Yeah, they are trying. The Christian Coalition is
Yeah.
trying very hard to bring Jesus to save us all.
yeah,
Again.
my God.
The far end.
Yeah, because he didn't save us the first time, so we got to bring him back.
Are you kidding or it's really kind of...
Writes because
Oh yeah, they're these guys.
They believe in the
groups. Yeah.
Yeah, second coming. of
Second
Jesus.
coming. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's disgusting. That's the tent. Exactly.
No, it's interesting. This is very interesting.
Engineers and the architects who nailed this. I'm the one that came up with the current mayor. Nailed this.
Another thing is that and your windows are,
How do we bring the wind in?
well, you can create like a big kind of like fence, circular, coming right there. So the wind,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, here.
And then well, that's
It
even
makes me dizzy.
vertigo.
No, it's here. Yeah, it's here. Exactly.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's here.
but it's
Exactly.
like
You
but
can
it's-
open a window.
but doesn't
They
doesn't
are open. We have to get fans to blow.
no, it doesn't do anything because everything's covered. The wind
Yeah,
blows this way.
Is it
going
permitted
up
to
one.
make a new window here on this side?
Why don't we get very fancy curtains,
It can't be
like
accounted
solar
for. It
panel
just can't be accounted for.
things
Right.
that block the
So they're saying
Because gravity is typically seen as mass. It's all about mass and density.
mass.
And if you look at if you add up all the mass that's known and all the density of that's there,
It's not
there's 95% more than should be there.
Right.
And I can't explain
The
it.
stagnant.
Except that they say that these universes that are a millimeter away from ours as we speak,
Well,
they're saying one
Exactly.
even,
So
group is
even during the
It's
day.
conjecturing that gravity can travel. Gravity will be the only is the only force.
Only during the night.
Here's what they're saying. They're saying one answer could be that gravity could be the only force
Even
that
during
can
the night, as you know,
permeate,
it can be.
that can jump from
like,
universe to
ain't gonna help.
universe. And then that
It won't help.
okay.
accumulation is what we
could
can
put
only
a
call right
fan
now dark
in the
matter.
boiler. Can we put a fan in there?
That's pretty cool.
blows?
Yeah, I subscribed to Scientific American, and there's
should
one
subscribe,
diagram.
Maybe you should need
have
bigger
exhaust?
No, you should-
ventilator.
Yeah,
go
there's an exhaust
I was gonna
in
say
there.
there's
We can
there's a
maybe put
diagram that
fan
explained
in
this in
there.
the article
Yeah,
that showed.
you can do that.
You know how
That
they
would
simplify the
help
on that ball diagram
fan
that the
needs to
universe is a
work
2D
24/7.
plane.
Or we have to figure out
They
why
showed
we
this
can't
one
turn the
folding back
boiler
on
off,
itself
or at
and
least
gravity
keep it-
here exerting back
Turn it
here.
off, you can-
So even in the one, and then the next
Why
diagram
do
is
you
the
wanna do
universe, the next one being
Because
folded into
it's
that.
generating
And then they had a fucking dimension line.
And we don't
1
need it right
millimeter.
now.
I'm like,
When
what?
we're not using it. Why
Sounds
can't
like a
we turn it
Klein
off?
body.
Nuts, man.
You can
1 millimeter? What the fuck
unplug
does
it
that
from,
mean?
like from the electricity. And,
Does
you
it-
just do
you-
that.
you
and
Just shut it off.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
a really big
maybe
fan of
during
this
the
whole
night,
cosmology,
you
like
turn it,
astrophysics,
put it on so in the
layman's
morning you have
perspective.
hot
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Because what what really kind of intrigues me is the fact that we sit there and it's like, okay,
Good idea.
you look up at the stars
We'll
and
do
you see
that.
nothing here,
I have to
obviously,
call
because
Bob
we're
this
in New
month.
York. But
Or it's gonna cost
How long
Real.
is it?
Robert.
well, there's this idea that we have these things called black holes.
One of these
Yes,
is Neptune,
exactly.
right? The brightest one.
And then you've been here to fix everything in our apartment.
Neptune, huh?
Yeah, I think it's down over there.
We have these things called black holes that exist.
We're talking about science.
Is that Neptune?
Yeah, most of the night spent in that.
All right, black hole.
Really?
How far is
You know,
it from the Earth?
So we have these
the
things
Earth,
that like
diameter
apparently
of the Earth?
this concept of black hole
This
exists.
kind
Okay,
of-
so star implodes, and then you have this like vortex that sucks in.
It's
You know.
it's not a vortex.
I didn't
It's
say
a
we-
singularity
Bowling.
point.
Well, actually, what happened? Well, I witnessed the event Horizon recently,
Once in a life.
and it was
Yeah, we
you
went tonight.
dancing,
20
pointing at that
Yeah,
chick,
we
and
did
then
that.
turning
I
right
forgot to tell
around.
you, yes. We went to the Yankees game, we had dinner, then we
wish I
went
had
bowling, then we
myself
went to
seen
the
this happen,
store.
you know?
Now
So what gets me though is the
fun.
fact
It
that,
was fun.
that scientists
It
will
was a
sit
lot
there and
of fun.
say, okay, this is a given.
It was a lot of
Like a
fun.
black hole exists.
Okay,
It
good.
pulls in
Yeah.
light,
But,
pulls in everything you see,
Everything, yeah.
and then
But I'm tired.
we
Yeah,
sit there,
but
you
when
know,
you
and we go
number
to
your
work,
all the things
and
that
we
you've
fucking
done.
deal with everyday shit, and it's like
And you
there's
put it all in the
people who can
afternoon,
sit there and
afternoon.
speculate on, oh, this is a
And
black
then,
hole,
like,
it's
one
a
thing.
vortex. And I'm a complete believer. And what I just kind of like, what kind of kills me about the whole thing is like this idea of our
I'll
consciousness.
see you in the morning.
You know,
Okay.
it's like so
Bye, good night.
limited
I'm gonna
in the sense that
go. Bye bye. I'm gonna go to bed.
Bye, Angie.
I'll see you. We're having brunch. Are we having brunch tomorrow?
sure, why not?
Yeah, we're having brunch
What
tomorrow,
time is
so we'll
it?
see you tomorrow.
What time is it, Boyan?
Bye, love.
No, he doesn't have
See
a
you in the
clock.
morning. Okay,
Nobody's
ciao.
got a clock
Can I have
here.
the keys?
Nobody's a professional around
Please.
here.
No, I'm
He's
definitely not
got
a
a phone.
professional.
See you.
Probably.
Bye bye.
Sleep well.
Thank you.
Who else got the keys?
Who else has the keys? Otherwise, somebody has to walk
You,
me
boy.
down.
Ivana.
No,
No?
no, no.
Click the bottom.
You have
Oh, I'll
them?
leave it open. I'll leave the
it
door
open.
open.
No, but
Wait, let me
I
go
gave
down
it
with
to
you.
you.
No, well, I know. I have to give it to Angie because
Uh-huh.
And I've
man,
heard.
it's good to
I've,
know, man, because
Rimashte telefon
I've
kod
been a
sebe.
fan for a fucking long
Name
well,
time.
no,
Since I
but
was a kid.
I've heard reference though. What I thought was interesting is I've heard reference to this.
Excuse me.
You know that besides the fact that we only use 10% of the gray matter, is this like this the research that hasn't been done or they're trying to do to the whole fucking like the brain.
Oh yeah.
Who was talking about brain?
Well, it's crazy too when you look at.
Well, some say that the brain, if you can map the brain, you map the universe. Essentially, that's it. Because
others say that the universe doesn't exist without a brain.
right. Well,
'Cause
but
we-
then
well,
we get
because-
philosophical.
Because everything for us depends on perception. You know, and
Right.
what's like, where do we get perception from brain? From
Right.
the synapses.
which
creating that perception.
which doesn't really it doesn't hold
So
water.
that means it's very realistic, because for example, our eye can, regarding the frequencies, we cannot see UV light, but for some reason we, for the sake of argument, we can say that we can see like UV rays too. Our world would be definitely different than it is right now.
Right.
UV rays do exist. UV light, we don't see it.
You can see it in my
You know.
sunburned face, man.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what it is. It's like it will definitely occur. In that sense, we're lucky that we don't see it, because it will be.
Right.
Yeah, but it's still like I want to hear in my lifetime. I honestly want to hear like what is the other 90% of our brains used for? Besides, subconscious, dreams. There's 90% that they state, which I believe.
Well, I read an article that's
we use only around 6%.
it's difficult to really prove that, like that percentage, and it was I'll have to find it, man.
Well, I'm sure it is hard to
Fine.
prove, but actually, honestly, I believe that
There's some-
when you think about this fucking gray matter, the whole mechanism, and the
Well, yeah,
capacity and what we go through, like lucid dreaming, like when you lucid dream, the fact is
Well,
your
But
perception is
the argument actually, I remember now. The argument is that if we didn't use it, we wouldn't have it, and we have it because and that's what's brought it. That's what's kept us to survive through time, in an evolutionary sense. That we don't know how.
Well,
we
you
don't
know what?
how, but we're using it. We don't know how.
This is an argument
Is
that
the real
I've heard,
question.
that I've read, that really, to me, holds water. Is that when we were in prehistoric times, we had essentially we were animalistic, and so we were using six senses, is what they state. Like you had this,
Right.
you had animal instincts.
Yeah,
You had,
of course.
Not only was your smell and your hearing, your sight hyper developed, but you had this perception. Is what they're trying. Some people, some scientists are trying to like get to, and through obviously the millennia, it's completely been. It's completely squashed. It's like even look at us now. It's like we watch television. It's like the only thing we use our senses for is walking down the street, and that's something to me that's intriguing because you think about how much has been perhaps lost because we had in order to survive like the prehistoric times. It's like everything we were food, so everything around us was a predator. Like us, bears. Saber-tooth tiger, the wolves, the dire wolves, the whole fucking nine.
Dude, what's the car service number?
Oh man. Where you
Air
going?
Seaboat is the
Where
Air
do I
Seaboat,
leave it?
man.
You think they'll come out here?
Yeah, they come anywhere.
Why you going?
Check it out.
'Cause
He's
it's 3 in
gonna
the morning,
Google it.
dude.
No, I got it in contact.
Dude.
Man.
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning. It's
3 in the
early.
No, the thing is like why we
It's highlighted
started
right there.
why we started developing our brain.
Last
I
time
think
was
because
Sudan.
with the advent
No,
of the
it's not- I
tools,
guess it's not so early.
once we like
No,
maybe
because
accidentally
the-
discovered like a tool,
Seems
like
to me like
even
an hour
primitive
ago
ones.
somebody asked
We started,
what were we in
we
the
started
bar.
then like
What time it was like
expanding on
12:30.
that idea, like a
And
tool.
now it's 3.
And fire, for
Is it
example,
3 right
these
now?
rudimentary things,
Is that real?
In,
That for sure?
but we're not the only ones. Like chimps use like primitive like tools to get like extract
Right.
like a branch to extract the
But what I think is
What's this?
Messerol Avenue.
Messerol Avenue and Lorimer.
Avenue. Very important.
But that's the thing that
No,
like
no.
that's the thing that throws me off though is like I sometimes
No, but-
I wonder how much we've lost over the.
You know what really puzzles me, for example, Rain Man.
or autistic people
yeah,
who can
completely.
like like remember everything. So there is obviously capability that is triggered somehow.
Well, there's a capability,
you
yeah,
know,
exactly, that we do not
you know,
tap
like,
into.
But
you have these people born
yeah.
who can, they're like deaf, dumb,
there's
and
what-
blind, but
yeah.
they can write music and they fucking sing, and then they go back to their corner.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, but
it's-
there's a case of one woman that can vividly remember, like to the minute detail, from a 15th year. Everything, every day, what she did, what she done, what happened. Like there was an
I was reading about
NPR,
that,
like
yeah.
vividly everything.
Yeah.
You tell her, like
She's an exception.
she's
like
an exception.
There's no one like anyone else.
You tell her
like
the date, and she'll tell you what she did.
Everything that was happened in the world.
in
that
United
day.
States. Yeah, what happened.
So that's the reference point. She can actually measure it based on like events.
Right.
and
So
Yeah.
you're talking about this.
By any other means, she's average
What
person.
the-
She's not like that smart,
Huh?
like a school
that?
smart or anything.
yellow?
But she can,
No,
she can
the-
like memory wise.
Oh, it's,
she can. That's a long-term
it's
memory
drawing.
because
No,
short-term
it looked
memory
like
you can
something
practice
completely
to establish
strange.
that remembering the sequence of the cards. Their techniques, but you lose it after like. For example, for competition, you practice, and then you're in competition, you do whatever you do, and then you lose it because that's short-term memory, but a long-term memory that you can remember vividly, from,
just
you
gotta-
name the date, she tell you what she did, like what day it was, like, what else happened in the news, everything,
She just got a fucking 3 gig SD card stuck up her ass, man.
Well, that's that exactly. to me is-
remember when you guys did like
I'm not
for
too
the
interested
school,
in that.
It's all zipped.
remember?
I wouldn't want to have it.
Put up her ass.
That kind of memory.
Remember
You
when
become
you
a
guys
slave to it.
Don't want to remember?
No, you become a slave to it.
It's a 7 gig
I
dildo.
Well,
Zip dildo.
if you end up thinking about what you were thinking about before all the time, you don't you don't create new
but-
thoughts.
Yeah, but
No, she
but
probably
she's
did.
not thinking about it. It's right there, like
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
if you
relax.
like hey Raul, what did you do like
Yeah,
today?
yeah.
Like, you're not
She's
thinking,
American?
but you
What
can.
the fuck did I
Yeah,
put it?
American.
Yeah, but I think the whole point, what I get from this again is there's this capacity that is untapped, and then there's certain individuals who, for whatever reason, autistic,
Yeah.
tap into these like resources that, and then they become these freaks of nature where they can sit there and.
I don't think they.
The one that
tap
blew
it
me away,
in.
like the
they just something is triggered in their like
Right.
brain activity, something different.
And this is
that,
the
like,
90%
They have
perhaps or whatever that I'm talking about that I don't get that's not tapped into. It's like we have this consciousness, they map the brain, at least scientifically, and they say it's 10%. It's like frontal lobe, you have this, and this pituitary gland does this, but then they have this
hypothalamus and all that.
yeah, they have this entire region of the brain that doesn't make sense. Like the idea of memory. Think about memory. It's like we have this organ that conducts our business, and then you think about memory. And I've read some really wacky shit on the idea of memory. The idea of like what does it entail? Like, what is it in the brain? Like how does it get stored? We just make assumptions. We're like, we are what we are, and we make, we have memories, and we get older, we forget more and more and more, and then you die. That's pretty much the human condition.
No, like
Yeah, it
for
does
example,
because the cells cannot regenerate themselves.
Right. But the whole idea is like there's this idea that there's this memory. Is it 3D? Is memory like something that's stored in the neurons? Is memory something that's stored in the
30 seconds.
Better hurry up then.
It's known that there is like a visual memory.
They
Like
have
some
the-
people have
the
photographic
hitters?
memory, meaning
That
like
gives you-
they've been away like from one place,
It's,
in
half that.
10
Here's
years,
this.
for example, and they can paint exact picture of the thing that they saw like 10 years ago. It's called photographic memory. One thing, another thing is this abstract memory, like you're reading from the books, that's only like you're reading and then you remember. That's abstract memory, what you don't associate really the letters that you see.
That's why
some people do associate.
Can you get a wide angle
but
for this?
us like learning like any school material
Sure,
or
I got
whatever
one
what
on
we
mine.
read, that's abstract.
That's
Yeah,
why
the
you know
only
what?
issue is
That's I read
it's an old
books
camera, so I
over
don't know
like my
if
favorite
if
books. I
wanna
read them
get just for that angle
over and
All
over
these
again.
Cameras have
because
different
what I
angles.
learned is like I don't remember
know?
shit about it.
Diameters.
Honestly, it's true. I was like I'm reading this one book right now, and it's a new book. I read it about like 5 years ago, and it's a new book, and it's kind of disconcerting because I thought I had this like memory of this book, and I like remember the passages.
So you just
Yeah,
have
but
emotions regarding
that's
the book, and the
I
memory
think
is-
that's
you have
that's the
certain
trap.
emotions
You know that,
captured.
yeah that's
Yeah.
the trap that we most of the people fall into is meaning we read the book and it's in a way entertaining, interesting, but we really don't think about it, what the book is saying, like on a deeper level.
Right.
When you start dissecting what the book's really saying, then you start
Well,
like
it's a question
know,
of absorption.
not only absorption. You can you can repeat the material, saying okay, book is